So today I'm going to talk about the experience of my cat getting hit by a car, how much it costed to save her, her injuries, and aftercare. This video is my way of informing and venting the stress from the last few months. So in January, Mia was hit by a car. Very luckily, we were able to narrow the hit into a 20-minute window. Thankfully, the neighbor found her under a car, bleeding. He then brought her to me. She was, of course, then rushed to the local vets, and then rushed to a specialist animal hospital recommended by the local vets, because her injuries were far too severe to treat at the local vets. She was in the ICU for about a week, and it was not sure she would make it. Thankfully, she somehow only got her head hit really badly, and her body organs were all alright. She had a fractured nose, eye socket, skull and jaw, so basically her whole face. She was in the ICU for quite a while, but as soon as she was deemed safely eating and drinking from her feeding tube, which was a tube that was put through her neck, that goes through to her stomach, so that we could have gotten food and water into her. The vets wanted to send her back home so that she would heal in a more comfortable environment. When she came home, Olaf and Mia had to be kept apart for two main reasons. The first was that Mia smelled like the vets and not so much like herself, which could have confused Olaf, so it was recommended to wait a few days before letting them see each other again. The second was that Mia was sleeping about 99% of the day, and because Olaf is the more boisterous one, it was best to keep him away from her so that she could heal. And indeed, Olaf was very unsure, especially about the whole feeding tube contraption around her neck. The aftercare was really difficult. She was on 3-4 different drugs that had to be crushed into her liquid food, that needed to be fed really, really slowly through her feeding tube 4 times a day. Water also needed to be fed through the tube. As well as this, she needed eye drops 4 times a day, and this was due to the injury of her eye socket, because she had ulcers in both eyes from not being able to blink. Her feeding tube and wound needed to be cleaned on a daily basis. It was really, really rough and completely overwhelming. Things only started to get easier when about a week after she came home, she finally started eating by herself, which was such a joy and such a relief. That also meant that the feeding tube could come out now that she was eating by herself. And unfortunately, despite the utmost care, the feeding tube got infected. But by then she was a lot better. She was still sleeping about 97% of the day, but eventually she had the feeding tube removed, the wire that was holding her jaw together removed when it was healed, and now she is back to her annoying little princess self. Thankfully, Mia has insurance and had insurance, because the total cost to save her life was £7,500, and the insurance covered £6,000. But as a result of this, Mia is no longer allowed outside. I did put in a 4x3 meter catio after the accident. So at the moment she can chew on grass, climb and sunbathe in the catio, but with her multiple fractures that are still in her skull, I think if she were to be hit again, it would probably be fatal. Olaf was also kept indoors originally after Mia had gotten hit, but he not so long ago started displaying destructive behaviors of distress from being locked in, cooped up inside. So now he is let really early in the mornings on the weekends out when there's not a car in sight. And letting him out was a really hard decision, but in the end it was decided to let him out again, just simply because he was not coping well indoors. Mia and Olaf are both content at the moment, and I hope that in the future I can offer them a full raw cat life. But for now, my main priority is to balance their happiness and safety. If you would like to see more videos and content on Mia and Olaf and our little pack, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.